Shalom.
Shalom means hello.
Shalom.
It means welcome, friend.
Shalom.
It means peace. It means we're glad to see you.
Shalom.
Shalom.
You'll love Israel from the first Shalom.
After a long investigation came Richard Goldstone's long report. Evidence of Israeli and Palestinian war crimes was the conclusion, although the harsh words were certainly reserved for Israel's conduct.
The mission concluded that actions amounting to war crimes, and possibly in some respects crimes against humanity, were committed by the Israel Defense Force.
Goldstone led an inquiry on behalf of the UN's Human Rights Council, holding public hearings in both Gaza City and Geneva. The team collected evidence, testimonies, and even satellite imagery to get an idea of whether Israel or Palestinian factions were in breach of international humanitarian law. Israel's response came swiftly. They had already refused to take part in the inquiry, calling it one-sided, and reiterated that position. The Defense Ministry had also preempted this report with their own, claiming their army did their best to avoid civilian casualties during the onslaught. But this was not Goldstone's conclusion.
The mission came to the conclusion that those attacks, which had no military justification, amounted to collective punishment and or reprisals and constituted war crimes.
In the months since the end of the war, various rights groups, both domestic and international, have provided evidence of Israel's war crimes. The shooting of civilians holding white flags, the deliberate and unjustifiable targeting of UN shelters, and the killing of over 300 children, whilst the Israeli army had at their disposal the most precise weaponry in the world. But the question now is what happens next. Richard Goldstone says he'll present his findings to the UN General Assembly and pass them on to the International Criminal Court of Justice in The Hague. But people here aren't holding their breaths that any potential Israeli war criminals will be held to account, or that this won't just be another buried report. Shireen Tadros, Al Jazeera, Gaza City.
סודנים לסודן, לכו הביתה, עופו מהמדינה שלי, עופו מהמדינה שלי, לכו לסודן, זה המדינה שלי פה, זה הבית שלי, אני נולדתי פה, איפה אתם? בשבילכם
הצלחנו לבלום את הכניסה של המסתננים מאפריקה לישראל, אחרי שהיינו באיום של כניסה של מאות אלפים. החודש לא נכנס מסתנן אחד לערי ישראל, זה כבר כמה חודשים שאנחנו משיגים את התוצאה הזאת. בחודש הקרוב אנחנו נשלים את בניית הגדר לאורך גבול סיני, ועכשיו אנחנו עוברים לשלב השני, וזה השלב של החזרת המסתננים.
עדיין לא מאוחר, אפשר מחר לעשות מעשה, להתחיל לאסוף את המסתננים, לא צריך לחכות לבג"ץ, לא צריך שום דבר.
אני רואה חיה מחוץ לבית שלי, יריקות, פסיכופטים, אנשים שרק מחפשים איך לרצוח אותי בעיניים שלהם, אבל אף אחד לא מאמין לנו. אנחנו גזענים. אנחנו גזענים כדי לרצות לשמור על החיים שלנו ועל השפיות שלנו. אז אני גאה בלהיות גזענית. אני גאה בלהיות גזענית. אם אני גזענית בשביל לשמור על החיים שלי, אז אני גאה.
If she has Coca-Cola, then she'll make you into a black Christian. Don't come closer, Rabbi. Don't come closer, Rabbi.
מה תצלם אצלי? מה תצלם? מותר לצלם אותי?
אנחנו הולכים עכשיו להגיש תלונה נגדו.
תגישי.
מה עשה לה כלום? מה קרה?
מה הוא עשה לה?
מה עשה לה כלום? אז הוא
אנחנו עדים. מחוצפת. 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 מחוצפת.
לא, תתביישי לך,
לא מתביישת? ככה עושים לרב של הרב? shame on you! shame on you! העיניים שלך רעות! את רעה!
אדוני השוטר!
מחוצפת!
אדוני השוטר, הם תוקפים אותנו! אדוני השוטר, הם תוקפים אותנו!
shame on you!
It's no joke. I'm going to my car. I'm going to my car. Yeah.
Jewish.
I'm going to my car.
An influential Israeli rabbi is coming under criticism after he gave a sermon Saturday in which he prayed for all Palestinians to perish in plague. Rabbi Ovadia Yosef is the founder of the Shas Party, part of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition government.
May our enemies and haters end. Abu Mazen and all these evil people should perish from this earth. God should strike them and these Palestinians, evil haters of Israel, with a plague.
Rabbi Ovadia Yosef's comments come just days before Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas are scheduled to begin direct talks in Washington. Palestinian Authority spokesperson Ghassan Khatib condemned the rabbi's remarks.
The statement that we heard from Ovadia Yosef is a racist incitement statement that is responsible for increasing the hatred and deepening the racist attitude among the Israeli society.
Also in the news today, Ukrainian police have smashed an Israeli-run organ trafficking network. The ring illegally recruited organ donors to send their body parts to Israel. The network was run by an Israeli man who was arrested last month. It supplied human organs to people in Israel who had ordered them in advance. On Friday, Ukrainian authorities arrested a dozen people, most of them Israelis, for taking part in the scheme. The network, which mostly sought kidneys, paid as much as $10,000 per body part. The organs were then sold for over $200,000. Ukraine's Interior Ministry says most of the organ donors were impoverished young women. This is not the first time that reports have surfaced implicating Israelis in organ trafficking. Last year, a Swedish journalist published an article claiming that Israeli soldiers killed young Palestinians for their organs.
Now, news that an Israeli amusement park has been opening up on separate days for Jewish and Arab school trips. It's being seen as the latest sign of an inherent racism and perhaps a tendency towards segregation. Street attacks against Arabs also appear to be on the rise and often include involving youngsters resorting to violence to express their anger. As RT's Paula Slier reports, they could merely be following the example set by the older generation.
Of the 300 million Arabs in the Middle East and North Africa, only Israel's Arab citizens enjoy real democratic rights.
But statements like this are small comfort for Arab Israelis. Whether or not they enjoy the right to vote, they face everyday problems of a more pressing nature. 3 months ago, Tel Aviv street cleaner Hassan Usraf was badly beaten up for no other reason than that he's Arab.
One of them said to me, "Hi, Arab." I said, "Why do you say that? I mean, what's the difference? Arab, Jewish?" Then another guy came up to me and said, "You want a country, Arab?"
The next thing the father of 3 remembers is being hit on the head with a bottle.
Everything went black. I fell to the ground. They started kicking and hitting me. My lawyer told me that when they were held by the police, they heard the kids competing among themselves who hit me the most.
Violent racism among Israel's youth has been growing steadily for some time. We went undercover, and this is what we found. A typical Thursday night in downtown Jerusalem. Young Israeli teenagers hanging out in the streets. It might be alcohol, drugs, or just plain boredom. But suddenly a fight breaks out. Undercover police arrive in seconds.
The settlement of Yitzhar in the north of the occupied West Bank. Behind the fences and watchtowers live more than 500 Orthodox Jews. There are a number of religious schools here where boys and young men study the Bible and other religious books under the guidance of local rabbis. One of them is Rabbi Yitzhak Shapira, seen here on the front page of an Israeli daily newspaper. The rabbi has provoked a storm of controversy by publishing a new book in which he appears to authorize the killing of non-Jews who are accused of posing a threat to Israel. The book, called the King's Torah, contains quotations from the Talmud, a scholarly Jewish text, to which the rabbi adds his own opinions and interpretations. In a chapter entitled The Killing of Gentiles in Wartime, the rabbi writes, "In any circumstances where the presence of a Gentile causes danger to Israel, it is permitted to kill the Gentile." In addition, he says, in cases where there is a strong suspicion that someone will continue persecuting Jews, it is permissible to kill him, even if at this moment he is not actively persecuting.
הייתי קורא למקום המחפיר הזה מבחינת גדולי האומה של הימין הקיצוני. לצערנו אנחנו רואים שלברוך גולדשטיין יש ממשיכים, הם קוראים לעצמם אנשי תג מחיר, והם ממשיכים לגרום למקום הזה להיות נפיץ, להיות מסוכן, ולצערי להפיל אותנו, את מדינת ישראל כולה, למעמקים חשוכים.
תוריד אותו החוצה, קח אותו לשם.